Hi, in this video, I want to talk about the legacy that we can build every day. So people will remember about you after even you are gone. So most people hear the word about legacy is immediately think about something that really grand. They think about famous leaders, historical figures, or wealthy people, maybe Elon Musk. So legacy is much bigger than money, I think. Legacy is not something you leave behind when you die. Legacy is something you build every single day while you are still alive. So every conversation you have, every decision you make, every promise you keep, every person you help, and every challenge you overcome becomes the part of your legacy. And I think the way that I make this kind of videos in my YouTube channel is the part of my legacy too. So someday in 5 years later or 10 years later, I want to see who do I look like, what I'm talking about, yeah. So the reality is that people might forget about what you own, where you work, or how much money you made, but they rarely forget how you made them feel. They remember the person who encouraged them when they wanted to quit. They remember the friend who stayed during difficult times. They remember the woman who carried herself with dignity when life became unfair. They remember character, and that is where legacy begins. Today, we live in a world obsessed with visibility. Everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants followers. Everyone wants recognitions. Everyone wants, the proof that they are matter. But influence and legacy are not the same thing. Many people are visible, but forgettable. Some people have very little visibility, yet their impact lasts for generations. Think about your parents, or your grandparents, or a teacher who changed your life, a mentor who believed in you. Many of these people may never become famous. So their influence continues through you, right? So that is legacy. Legacy is the invisible impact that keeps moving long after a moment has passed. And this is important because many of us spend our lives chasing achievements while neglecting the kind of person we are becoming. We ask ourselves, okay, how much money can I make? How successful can I become? How many people will notice me? But better questioning who am I becoming while I pursue these things, because one day your reputation will not be built by your goals. It will be built by your daily habits. A person's legacy is simply their character repeated over time. If you are kind every day, kindness becomes your legacy. If you are honest every day, honesty becomes your legacy. If you are reliable every day, reliability becomes your legacy. So legacy is not built in one dramatic moment, like in one night. No, it is built in ordinary moments, the moments that nobody applauds, the moment that nobody records, that the moments nobody sees. As a woman, I think this topic becomes even more meaningful. Many women are taught from a young age that their value comes from external things, like how they look, who they marry, how much attention they receive, how desirable they appear to others. But none of these things create a lasting legacy. Lasting legacy. Beauty changes. Trends change, attention comes and goes, validation fades, character remains. As a woman, one of the most powerful things that we can build is not about beauty okay? It is presence. The way you walk into a room, the way you treat people, the way you handle disappointments, the way you carry yourself when nobody's watching. People notice these things even when they never mention them. A strong woman is not necessarily the loudest woman, She is the woman who knows who she is. She has values, she has standards, she has self respect, she has integrity, and she doesn't abandon, these things for temporary approval. That itself becomes a legacy. Sometimes women underestimate how much influence they have. You may think nobody is paying attention, but younger women are watching. Children are watching, family members are watching, friends are watching, even strangers, we don't know them, are watching. They notice how you respond to hardship. They notice whether you become bitter or wiser. They notice whether success changes your character. They notice whether you treat people differently based on status. Without realizing it, you are teaching people how to live. This is why your legacy is not something waiting in the future. It is happening right now, every day, through every choice. There is another side of legacy that people rarely discuss about that. The legacy you live for yourself. Because one day you will look back on your life and you will have to live with your own memories. Did you stay true to your values? Did you have the courage to walk away from what was wrong? Did you protect your peace? Did you become the woman you wanted to become? This question matter. Because success without self-respect feels empty. Recognition without inner peace feels exhausting. Achievement without purpose feels meaningless. A meaningful legacy begins with living in alignment with your values. For me, I believe one of the greatest legacies a woman can leave is becoming an example of resilience, because life is not easy. Every person experiences disappointment, right? Heartbreak, loss, failure, rejection, moments where everything seems uncertain. But resilience means continuing anyway, not because you are fearless, but because you refuse to let hardship define your identity. People may never remember every struggle you face, but they will remember how you handled those struggles. That becomes the part of your legacy. Oh my God, she's the one that I know that she's resilient. Someone will remember about you. Another important part of legacy is kindness, and kindness is often misunderstood because kindness is not weakness. Kindness is kind of like strength under control. It is choosing compassion when it would be easier to be cruel. It is choosing patience when it would be easier to react. It is choosing understanding when judgment would be simple. Small acts of kindness create ripples that travel farther than we realize. A simple conversation, a compliment, a moment of support. These things seem kind of small. Sometimes that become life-changing memories for another person. That is why every interaction matters. Now, if you want to rebuild a meaningful legacy, ask yourself, every day. Ask the question every day to yourself, what kind of person am I becoming? Who am I becoming? How do people feel after interacting with me? Do they feel respected? Do they feel encouraged? Do they feel valued? If someone copy my daily habits, would I be proud of the life they created? Because your habits is kind of like your future legacy in a progress. And perhaps the most beautiful truth about legacy is you don't need to be extraordinary. You don't need millions of followers. You don't need a perfect life. You don't need public recognition. You only need consistency every day. Choose integrity, choose growth, choose kindness, choose courage. Those choices may seem small, but over time and again, they become a life, and that life becomes a legacy. So if you are wondering what legacy you are building, don't look at your biggest achievement, but look at your daily action. Look at your habits, look at your character, because your legacy is not waiting for tomorrow. It is being written today, in every conversation, in every decision, in every act of courage, in every moment when you choose to become a better version of yourself. And one day, long after specific details are forgotten, people may not remember everything you said. They will forget about what I'm saying here, right? They most of the people not remember everything that you own, but they will remember who you were. And that's more than anything else. Is that the legacy that you build every day. So hopefully this video can help you guys to make your own legacy, because I remember one of my mentors say that, what's the legacy that you want? I just want to helping people outside, the people that maybe I'm not meeting with them in real life, but this from the screen that now you're watching me. I want to tell that you are worth it. Let's do it. Let's be better day by day. The life you live today is the story your legacy will tell tomorrow. Maybe that's the quotes for this video. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.